Danganronpa. Today, a review of Danganronpa, a show about a group of high school students who are kidnapped and sealed within their own school, with the only possibility for escape is to kill one of their fellow students and not get caught. Now, to start off, I'd like to say that I really liked the aesthetic choices of the art style. The character models and body types are very unique and different than what you usually see in an anime, and it's really refreshing. And things like the pink blood instead of red blood are a really nice touch for people like me who are kind of tired of seeing the same thing all the time. Now, Danganronpa was originally a video game, and it clearly shows in the anime. Certain visual cues and overall how the show is presented is very reminiscent of how the game operates, which isn't necessarily a bad thing. It works really well with engaging the audience, and I didn't find it distracting at all, though it does make some parts of the show a little predictable. Now, despite the initial premise of the show, it is actually a lot lighter in tone than you would think, as compared to other anime such as Mirai Nikki or Batum, which is a good thing, in that the mood doesn't get too heavy, that it actually becomes physically exhausting to watch the show. But the lightness of the show, it does not trivialize the murders or terrible events these characters are going through, which makes the show a lot more mature. I also really enjoyed the music for the show. The beat and tune for the soundtrack of the show is not distracting and sometimes makes the show all the more enjoyable. Some of the more memorable tracks, such as the ending theme and the execution theme, really getting stuck in your head, making the scenes all that more memorable. Now, since this is a murder mystery anime, characters will die. Each of the murders are very different in nature and all reach very unique and satisfying conclusions from each other, while also taking for the most part, show don't tell aspect to the character development throughout the show. It is also quite refreshing that the murders and executions aren't used in an exploitive way, aside from the last one, while also holding a unique charm to each of them. Now, you may have noticed that I haven't gone into any detail about the characters of the show. Well, to be honest, first episode of the show provides a sufficient intro to the characters to watch the show, and besides, all of the main characters are based on stereotypes that are essentially a joke unto itself.
Hell with that! Those iron walls don't scare me! I'm sure if I hit them a bunch it'll solve our problems, and yes, that is my answer to everything!
That isn't really my problem with the show. My problem with the show is that all of the character development, characterization happens is related to the story and plot. You never learn anything about these characters unless it's directly related to something happening with the show and story, which is really disappointing. I wish they devoted a little more time to these characters outside of the murder mystery plot. It would have made for much more compelling characters. The ending to the show is also quite satisfying, resolving the main story and finishing the character's journey without leaving any loose ends. Although the climax does have a very shonen-like cliche to it, making it a little predictable, but overall very satisfying. Overall, Danganronpa is essentially if Clue was turned into a really good anime. It would have been even better if they only took a little more time to expand on the characters. Ultimately, I give this show an 8 out of 10.